I hope you are able to see the word file as well as me. Well, so last in the last class we
Yes,
have,
sir.
yeah, okay, fine, thank you. And in the last class we have seen the early phase of Anglo-Maratha War, how Raghunath Rao, he murders his own nephew and becomes Peshwa, but was disliked by the Maratha noble, and they hatch a kind of conspiracy, and that led to the war between the Marathas. And Raghunath Rao, being defeated, he runs away to the British, signs Treaty of Surat, and then with the British support, he tries to become Peshwa, but it could not be. The British could not achieve success against the Marathas, and then they signed Treaty of Purandar, because in between there was certain changes. The British did not wanted the war to continue. But now, though the Treaty of Purandar was signed, no party was happy with that, and there are certain international factor, like Hastings was quite ambitious, and he wanted to expand the British Empire in India to make up for the losses of the colonies in America. So there were so there is a change in the British policy. British, from being in a reconciliatory mood, Warren Hastings is now became more ambitious, more aggressive, and Anglo-French War also started, and that Anglo-French War also became one of the important reason. Then at the same time, French representative Saint Lubin was received in Pune, and this has also created a kind of antagonism further between the British and the Marathas. And in the Pune Darbar itself, there were a lot of conspiracies going on. See, if the person who is supposed to wield the authority, if he is not capable, that gives rise to the lot of conspiracies. And Savai Madhavrao Peshwa, who was supposed to be the lead of the Maratha Confederation, as he was child, Nana Fadnavis and Sakaram Bapu, they were the mainly running the administration with the support of Scindia and Holkar. But there was a person called Morova Chitnis, who was in fact cousin of Nana Fadnavis, and he felt sidelined. And he was having sympathy for Raghunath Rao, so that was one of the reasons that Nana sidelined him. But he started indulging into conspiracy. He was sulking, and Moistin, who was the British representative at Pune, he tried to take an advantage of this dissatisfaction of Moroba, and in order to Nana Fadnavis and Sakaram Babu, they tried to avoid the conflict with Moroba, Moroba, in fact, he was holding quite a high position. He was confidential secretary of Peshwa Madhavrao first, and now he was induced into the council by Sakaram Babu and Nana Fadnavis. So now these three people, they started running the administration. Whatever the correspondence used to come from British side earlier, it used to have the name of only Sakaram Bapu and Nana Fadnavis. Now Marathas insisted that Morova Chitnis name of Morova Chitnis should also be added into it. So the correspondence started coming on the name of these three. But this Morova Chitnis, though he was added into the council, he was still not satisfied. Somehow he wanted to have all the power in his hand, and the Peshwa should be a young child who was now looked after by Nana Fadnavis, should be in his hand, should be the puppet in his hand. So the when he had that kind of thought, Moistin, who was the very clever British diplomat, he tried to take advantage of it. He had meeting with Moraba, series of meeting, and then he convinced to Moraba that Nana is the main hurdle, Nana is the main culprit that creates conflict between the British and the Marathas. So if you remove Nana, probably the British and the Marathas will be on friendly term, and you can also have what you want. The child Peshwa will be in your hand. You are already sympathetic with the cause of Raghunath Rao. We can also bring Raghunath Rao here. Now, so they form conspiracy. This British representative Moiston and Morava Chitnis. So they plan that Raghunath Rao should be welcome, and Nana Fadnavis should be put in the prison. And there were some more Raghunath Rao supporters, and some of them were quite jealous of Nana Fadnavis. All those people, they join hands with this conspiracy of Morava Chitnis. There were Tukoji Holkar, Chinto Vittal, Manaji Phadke. All these people, they were jealous of Nana Fadnavis, and they joined hands with Morava Chitnis. In fact, Tukoji Holkar was the military commander, and Morava Chitnis was a kind of politician. He did not have a lot of military under his command. So he seduces Tukoji Holkar. He pays him 5 lakh rupees and asks him to join the conspiracy. And when all this conspiracy was happening, incidentally, for a couple of days, Nana Fadnavis went away from Pune to his hometown to celebrate festival of Shivratri. And during that, these people, Morava Chitnis, they got an opportunity to seduce the other people, to ask them to take them into their conspiracy. And at the same time, this was happening around 1777 78. And during this time, the army of Pune Darbar, as well as Mahadaji Sindhia, who was the main important military support of Nana Fadnavis or this Barbhai conspiracy, they both were away. Haripant Phadke, the person who used to lead the Peshwa's army was proper Peshwa's army was called Hujurat, and the army of Mahadaji Shinde, they were also in support of this Barbhai. These both people, Haripant Phadke with the Peshwa's army, he was leading an expedition in Karnataka, and Mahadaji Shinde was engaged in fight at Kolhapur. So these both army were away from Pune, and that is the time that Morova thought that this is the right time to strike. And the Moistin, he hurriedly goes to Bombay, so that Raghunath Rao, along with the supporting army of the British, can be brought to Pune. Now, when so what plan they had, the British, through Moistin as well as this Morova Chitnis, is that we will seize the child Peshwa. Nana will be put in the prison, and Raghunath Rao, along with the British, will march to Pune, and they will be welcomed by Tukoji Holkar, as he was having a military support under him. Now, Sakharam Bapu, he somehow felt sidelined because of Nana. He had certain differences with Nana also. Nana Fadnavis was in favor of giving a very strict punishment to the supporter of Raghunath Rao, which somehow Bapu did not like. And he was becoming a bit indifferent to the administration because of these differences. Nana was definitely very capable, very energetic. But moreover, Chitnis, he tried to bring Sakharam Bapu also into conspiracy. Sakharam Bapu did not openly join the side, but he said, okay, fine, if you can remove Nana Fadnavis, because I also had ego clashes. If you can remove Nana Fadnavis, that is fine. But I don't want Raghunath Rao should come to Pune, because he feared that earlier he served under Raghunath Rao, but he joined conspiracies against his own master. So if Raghunath Rao comes here to Pune and become Peshwa or become an authority, probably I'll be punished. So probably, he was sitting on the fence and trying to judge which side is going to win. Either Nana Fadnavis is going to win or Morava Chitnis is going to win, and whichever side wins, I will join. He was a very clever politician. And now Mostin, he hurriedly goes to Bombay so that Raghunath Rao can be brought back. Now, when Nana Fadnavis got some hint of this conspiracy, Moistin is, going. Nana had his very efficient spy system. Moistin is going to Bombay, and Tukoji Holkar is having frequent meeting with this Morova Chitnis. Tukoji Holkar was also quite jealous of Mahadaji Shinde. Shinde and Holkar, these two houses had contributed a lot in expanding the Maratha Empire in the northerly direction. But they also had a kind of enmity, and Mahadaji Shinde was much more capable than Tukoji Holkar. But Tukoji, he was jealous of Mahadaji Shinde. And now, when Nana got hint of this conspiracy, Tukoji Holkar's meeting, Morova Chitnis meeting, and probably Sakharam Bapu is also joining the hands, he sends immediate message to Haripant Phadke, who was fighting in Karnataka, that you should come back to Pune, and also he sends message to Mahadaji Sindhia that he should come back to Pune immediately. Now, these both people, Moroba from his side also approach this military commander and ask them to join with him against Nana Fadnavis. Now, Nana, he took shelter at Purandar, and he took adequate precaution so that fort can be protected. It was in any case the fort which was very difficult to conquer. So Moroba, though he attacks Purandar, he fails to capture Purandar, and young Peshwa was staying there. So Nana, he took advantage. He took adequate precaution so that the fort can be defended. But Nana understood that it's better to compromise instead of plunging the Maratha Empire into the civil war. So he says, ki, okay, fine. If you want power, if you want to become Chitnis, I'm willing to relinquish my power. But only thing is that don't bring Raghunath Rao and British to Pune, because through Raghunath Rao, if the British are entering to Pune, probably this will be the loss of independence of the Marathas. Nana Fadnavis was one of the diplomat who is considered as a very clever, very intelligent person of his time, and he really understood the motive and nature of the British. That the British are bent upon destroying each and every Indian kingdom so that they can expand their empire all over India. And that he requested to Morava, please don't bring Raghunath Rao along with the British. You can take the power and you can have the young Peshwa in your hand. Now the keys of treasury and the office that were handed over to Morava, and Nana Fadnavis was put in the kind of, if not in the prison, but he was under the watch. His movements were restricted. Now Mahadaji Scindia, when he was sent message, he was fighting at Kolhapur. Mahadaji Scindia did not take a stand which side he is joining, either to Nana or to Morova Chitnis. But he comes back towards Pune. But while had correspondence with Nana Fadnavis, and he says ki, this welcoming of the French ambassador in Pune, Saint Lubin, that has created conflict between the British and the Marathas. So it's better if you leave this French person, ask him to go away from Pune. Probably the things might be resolved, because the French power is not yet well established in India, and in contrast, the British power is much stronger. It's quite well established. So let us not get into conflict with the British power. And Nana agrees. And Saint Lubin, he was later on, given leave, and he left Pune in July 1778. Now, though Moistin goes to Bombay to bring Raghunath Rao could not come immediately to Pune because there was no adequate force present at Bombay to support him. And at the same time, the British at Bombay, they were also had instruction from the higher authority, that is at Kolkata, that they should not march to Pune, because the British authority, they were quite aware through Mostin what is happening. Moreover, Chitnis is conspiring against Nana and Moreover is having conflict, and probably Sakharam Bapu, who is very respectable person in the Maratha Confederation, and he is sitting on the fence. So the British at Bombay were given instruction from Governor General that the British should not march to Pune along with Raghuva until unless they receive the letter of invitation from Sakharam Babu. At least Sakharam Babu and Moroba, if they are with the British, that they will have an upper hand. But only Moroba's invitation was not enough. Though Moroba has written letter of invitation to British, British did not budge. They did not start, as Moroba's letter was not considered to be enough by the British. Now, Mahadaji Scindia and Haripant Phadke, they comes towards Pune, and now Mahadaji Scindia, he plays a very important role. And then we find here onwards, Mahadaji Scindia was playing a very important role in protecting the Maratha Empire. So Mahadaji Scindia, after coming towards Pune, he has meeting with Tukoji Holkar. In fact, Tukoji had joined hands with Morova Chitnis, and he was not ready to meet. But Mahadaji Shinde, without invitation, goes to his camp, has secret meeting with him, and he comes out as a very wise statesman here for the Maratha Empire. He says, "Ki you and me might be having differences, but if you support British, like indirectly, if you are supporting Raghunath Rao, through Raghunath Rao, the British will enter into the Maratha Empire, and that will be the loss of independence for all the Marathas. So it's better that we should prevent the entry of the British at any cost." And then Tukoji Holkar, he agrees with him. He leaves the side of Morova Chitnis and join hands with Mahadaji. Now, so with Tukoji Holkar changing his side, Morova's side become very weak, because Tukoji Holkar was the main military support that Morova was having. And Mahadaji also took the lead in bringing all these people together. That is Sakharam Bapu, Nana Fadnavis, Haripanta Phadke, and Tukoji Holkar. All these people were brought together, and all of them took an oath of allegiance to the young Peshwa. They said, "We will remain loyal to the young Peshwa." That is Sawai Madhavrao. And now Moroba, he feels that now all his power is lost. Tukoji Holkar is no longer my friend, and Nana has outwitted me with the support of Mahadaji Scindia. So he tries to run away, but he was caught and put in the prison by Nana Fadnavis, where he remained in prison for a very long period. And after that, he did not play any important role until unless he was later on released by Bajirao II. That is a story of another day, later story. Oh well, okay. As of now, the Moroba's conspiracy has failed because of Moroba, and along with Moroba, the British residents, Moistin, British representative Moistin, he was also trying to conspire. So that has came to failure because they were outwitted by Nana and Mahadaji Shinde. And Nana and Bapu now they again assume the leadership of administration once again. And now the British at Bombay, they were restless. They wanted to take revenge, or they wanted to expand the empire, and they also received encouragement from Warren Hastings, as well as from the higher authority at London. And though Moroba's conspiracy failed, British they thought that we will continue with the war and we will take Raghunath Rao to Pune. And but now they have changed a stand little bit. Earlier they were taking a stand that instead of Savai Madhavrao, Raghunath Rao should become Peshwa. Now they took a stand that as Madhavrao is a Peshwa accepted, but he is too young, so he will remain Peshwa. But the regency, the regent, the caretaker will be Raghunath Rao. They thought that if they change this stand, probably some more Marathas will join hands with him, with them. And Raghunath Rao and Moistin, they convinced to the British at Bombay that if they march towards Pune with Raghunath Rao, and they declared that Raghunath Rao will be regent and Savai Madhavrao will continue to be the Peshwa, probably some more Maratha noble will switch over. They will leave the side of the Barbhai Pune Darbar, and they will join hands with the with the Raghunath Rao and British. Now, Hastings was also quite supportive of the British at Bombay now, and Hastings sent army from Bengal. That army it marches through northern India through Bundelkhand, so that they can reach to Gujarat, where in fact Raghunath Rao was stationed, and from Surat they can further march onto the Pune Darbar and make Raghunath Rao as an caretaker of the young Peshwa. So British army, it started marching from Bengal towards Gujarat, and Hastings also given instruction to the British at Madras that they should cooperate with the British at Bombay. British they also tried to seduce Mahadaji Shinde away from Pune Darbar. They had correspondence exchange of the envies, exchange of the representative, and Hastings also allowed that Hornby, the governor at Bombay, is having full power of action. You can go ahead and fight war against the Marathas. So the British army coming from Bengal through central India was led by Colonel Leslie. They also attacked Kalpi. Kalpi is in northern India near Jhansi, and that Kalpi was station of the Marathas. So the Kalpi was attacked and it was captured by Marathas in May 1778. But as they further moved towards south, the British army they suffered starvation. They could not get adequate provision, adequate food, and fodder for their animal. And Leslie, the commander who started from Bengal with the huge army, he dies there. And after his death, the second in command was Colonel Godard. Colonel Godard, he assumes the command of that British army which was coming from Bengal, and there in Hoshangabad, when as they were marching towards Gujarat, they were trying to cross Narmada. At Hoshangabad, they were opposed by the Bhosles of Nagpur, and their 2 months were lost. But somehow the British, Hastings and the British, they managed, or Colonel Godard, they managed to have a kind of friendly relation with Bhosle now after 2 months, and the Bhosle now allows them to cross Narmada. The reason why Mudhoji Bhosle allowed British to cross Narmada and enter into Gujarat is not sure. Historians are not aware of it so far. But probably the latter event shows that they were seduced by the Britishers by promising them huge money. Bhosles and the Britishers, they had conflict about the Chauth of Bengal. The Nawab of Bengal used to pay Chauth to the, that is tax, to the Bhosle rulers of Nagpur. But now, as the Britishers became the supreme masters of Bengal, they stopped giving chowth. They said, okay, we don't need any more, your protection, and we are not going to pay you chowth. And but here it seems that probably they had a kind of understanding, and they managed to dislodge Bhosles from the Pune Darbar army. Well, now, as all these things were happening, Raghunath Rao and the British at Pune, they became quite confident that as the British army is coming very close, which started from Kolkata, and the Raghunath Rao also promised that as we march towards Pune, there will be large number of Marathas noble who will be joining us with their army. And in any case, he had his supporter in Maharashtra, even at Pune also, and at different places where they were fermenting trouble against Pune Darbar, against Nana Fadnavis. And he believed that Nana Fadnavis has disappointed many people, so there will be many people who will be joining us. So in November 1778, Raghunath Rao, he had 7,000 forces, still a lot of forces with him, and the British forces led by Colonel Egerton, who were having 2,000 native trained Indian people and 500 European soldiers, including officers. They start towards Pune. They reach to Khandala Ghat via Panvel in Mouth. Khandala is, somewhere in between, not exactly in between. It is little away from Bombay and little closer to Pune, but in between these two important stations. So the army, as this person, Colonel Egerton, as he reaches to Khandala via Panvel, and he was stationed at the Khandala Ghat on the top. The army of Pune Darbar, they also started marching from Pune before, when Colonel Egerton started from Bombay. And they now, as both the army came face to face, the army of Pune Darbar, tradition of the Marathas were guerrilla tactics. So they restored to guerrilla tactics. They started hovering around the British army, and they cut off the supplies. And whenever the British army started, moving forward, all that area was burned by the Marathas, and even the food, no food and no fodder was found by the British army. And as the British army, their condition became a little bit distressed, the Marathas attacked. In January 1799, Colonel Stewart was killed, Colonel K was wounded, and he returned to Bombay. Through this march, through this deprivation, Colonel Egerton, who was leading the army of the British, he became seriously ill, and he returns to Bombay, and the command now handed over to the next in command, that is Cockburn. And this killing of two officers, Marathas cutting off the supplies, it had already demoralized the British army. And there was a commander, Maratha commander Bhurao Panse. He was the in charge of the Peshwa's artillery forces, and he had under his service a Portuguese expert gunner named Norana. And with the help of this Portuguese expert gunner, this Panse has created a great execution in the British army. He fired on them cannon after cannon, and a large number of British were, the British army, large number of soldiers in the British army were killed. British, with great difficulty, they reach Talegaon, place called Talegaon, as they still continue to march towards Pune. On 9th January, they reach to Talegaon, and 1799, and there they found that there is no blade of grass in the vicinity. Everything is burned and destroyed by the Marathas. Even so, the prospectus of going to Pune seems to be impossible now. Even they did not get water. All that, there was a tank, and that tank was drained out by the Marathas before the British army could reach to that place. And as Raghunath Rao and Moistin have assured to the British forces that as we will be reaching closer to Pune, other Maratha noble will be also changing their side and joining our hand. That really did not happen, and the condition of the British became quite distressed. There was a scarcity of water, and the British War Council, they finally decided that we should withdraw. So from Talegaon, they started coming back. They fell back at Wadgaon. But now the Marathas became bold. The British army, it was surrounded from all direction, The British, while withdrawing, they lost 5 guns and small arms. The Marathas, they started frequent attack on the British troop, and the British, now quite distressed, they were compelled to open negotiation for free passage to Bombay through Sakharam Bapu. Raghunath Rao, he made personal appeal to Tukoji Holkar. Tukoji Holkar was a person who earlier had sympathy for Raghunath Rao. So through Tukoji Holkar, the condition of the Maratha noble like Tukoji Holkar was a bit difficult. On the one side, they understood that it is not right for us to support the British, and Raghunath Rao is taking the help of the British. But they also remembered that it is with Raghunath Rao that they grew up. They fought large number of wars with Raghunath Rao, and how can they become very cruel to their own master? So through Tukoji Holkar, Raghunath Rao had tried to open negotiation with Pune Darbar, but Mahadaji Scindia, who became now very important in the Maratha Confederation, he said, I am not going to accept the mediation of Holkar. Raghunath Rao has to make an unconditional surrender to me. And Raghunath Rao, he finally give himself in Mahadaji's hand. He makes unconditional surrender to Mahadaji. And Mr. Farmer, representative from the British side, he was deputed to have meeting with Mahadaji and Nana Fadnavis. And during when the negotiation was going on, the Britishers, they tried to escape under the cover of artillery, but that was prevented by the surrounding Marathas. And in that war, around 50 European and 400 Indian troops were killed. And Nana Fadnavis, he was in favor of following a very stern policy against the British. But Mahadaji was somehow seems to be having a bit soft corner towards the British. He understood that British have a very disciplined force. Bengal, a very rich province, is in their hand. They are stationed at Madras. South India in Karnataka, large portion is in their hand. And it wouldn't be right for us to antagonize the British. And he was quite impressed by the very disciplined forces of the Britishers. So he somehow thought that it's not very right to be very very strict against the Britishers, and the negotiation started. And after this negotiation, Treaty of Vadga was signed between the Pune Darbar and the British in 1779. And according to this treaty, Raghunath Rao will surrender to the Marathas. Celesti, Thane, it is also pronounced as Shasti in Marathi. British pronounce it as Celesti. Celesti, Thana, and territories that were captured by the British in Gujarat will be handed over back to the Marathas. The forces of Bengal, which were marching to help the British army of Bombay, they should be ordered back. They should go back to Bengal. Two Englishmen will remain as a hostage with Mahadaji Shinde until unless the terms of the treaty are faithfully executed. The treaty is to be finally ratified by the Governor General. Now, Mahadaji Scindia, he was quite magnanimous towards British, and he is also praised by the British later on for, being very kind to the defeated enemy. Now, after this treaty, the British forces were provided with the food and water, and they were escorted back to Bombay by the Maratha cavalry. Raghunath Rao, he surrendered to Mahadaji and agreed to retire from politics. He gave up his claim on the position of Peshwa, and it was decided that he will be given a Jagir that will earn him 12 lakh rupees in a year near Jhansi. Now, Raghunath Rao was quite upset with Sakharam Bapu. Sakharam Bapu had earlier worked under Raghunath Rao during Madhav Rao's period, Madhav Rao's first period. He used to conspire along with Raghunath Rao, but then later on he turned against him. And one of the important reasons was that is the killing of Narayan Rao. Raghunath Rao was instrumental in the killing of his own nephew, and that made him quite unpopular. So Sakharam Bapu turned against him, but Sakharam Babu at the same time was playing a kind of a very clever politician role, as he saw that Moroba Chitnis is conspiring and there is an avenue of reviewing Nana Fadnavis, and there is a possibility that he might become a supreme controller of the Maratha Empire. He also wrote a letter to Raghunath Rao inviting him to Pune. And Raghunath Rao was not now very upset, very angry that Sakharam Babu did not join him, conspired against him. So that letter was made open by Raghunath Rao. That letter was shown to Nana Fadnavis and Mahadaji Scindia, and Sakharam Babu was arrested for conspiring against Peshwa, and he was put in the prison. Well, now hereafter, Nana and Mahadaji, they became the important pillar of the Maratha Empire, and they continue to do so for considerable time. Now, after Vadgaon, the treaty was never accepted by the British. Hastings, he refused to carry out the term, and he stated that those who contracted the treaty had no right to do so. Long inquiry was held at Bombay, and Egerton and Cockburn, they were dismissed from service. They were not considered as the capable who led the British forces to their defeat. And Hastings and British, they wanted that this defeat of Vadgaon or defeat of Talegaon and the Treaty of Vadgaon, which they considered to be disgraceful to the British, will be wiped out. Now, at the same time, when all these events were happening, Treaty of Vadgaon was happening, General Godard, who was now leading the Bengal army, he reaches to Surat. And while reaching to Surat, he hears the news that the army which was sent from Bombay is being defeated by the Marathas, and they were forced to sign the Treaty of Vadgaon. But now the Britishers, though they by signing the Treaty of Vadgaon, the Britishers, they saved the life of their own soldiers, but they were not in a mood to reconcile and accept the treaty. So this General Godard, now he opens negotiation with Fateh Singh Gaikwad. The Gaikwad ruler of Baroda, there was a conflict between two brothers, Govindrao Gaikwad and Fateh Singh Gaikwad. And Fateh Singh Gaikwad, he joins hands with the Britishers, and later on we see that Govindrao Gaikwad joined hands with the Pune Darbar. So he joined hands with Fateh Singh Gaikwad, and now here one another very unfortunate or very interesting event takes place. That is, Raghunath Rao had surrendered to Mahadaji Scindia, and Mahadaji Scindia sends him towards Jhansi along with the escort of Hari Babaji. Hari Babaji was a quite responsible person in the service of Mahadaji Scindia, and Raghunath Rao, as he was Baji Rao's son, he had definitely had certain respect. So, though Raghunath Rao surrendered, he was not deprived completely of his army. And Raghunath Rao was still having some of his followers, some of his soldiers who had guns with them. And but Raghunath Rao, he pretended that, okay, finally I have surrendered. I have nothing else to do. I am not going to fight. I am giving up all my claim on the Peshwaship. But on the bank of Narmada, this fellow, he again showed his true color. And incidentally, this person has created a lot of problem for the Marathas. And later on, we will see that during the Second Anglo-Maratha War, it was his son, Bajirao II, who created a lot of problem for the Maratha. He was Peshwa, but it was Bajirao II who is generally considered as responsible for the downfall of the Marathas and giving away the independence. Okay, that is a story for another day. Let us come back to now what is happening with Raghunath Rao. So, on the bank of Narmada, when the army was crossing, he ordered his soldier to suddenly open fire on his escorting army. The army that was sent by Mahadaji Scindia along with Hari Babaji, that was escorting him to Jhansi, and fire was suddenly open, and Hari Babaji, the commander who was supposed to escort Raghunath Rao, was killed in that fire. And there was a lot of commotion, lot of confusion, and in that confusion, Raghunath Rao, he runs away to Surat and takes shelter with the British General Godard. Of course, he was communicating with the Britishers, and he managed to take his family. He had a number of concubines, and he ensured that his concubines are reaching to safety. And we have an account of the British person, which I told you yesterday, and he had a very low opinion about the character of Raghunath Rao, and it's because of his concubine that he used to have very frequent fight with his wife Anandibai. Well, nevertheless, that is another story. That is his personal life, but his personal life did affected the political consideration. Well, now Godard, as he now had Raghunath Rao with him, he was already in alliance with Fateh Singh Gaikwad, and he opens front against Marathas in the Gujarat. And Raghunath Rao, he continued to conspire. He had still had a number of supporters in the Maratha kingdom, and Raghunath Rao supporters, they created problem in Khandesh, and Raghunath Rao's escape also created a kind of mistrust and differences between Nana Fadnavis and Mahadaji. Nana Fadnavis, in any case, was in favor of giving a very strict punishment to Raghunath Rao and his supporter. Mahadaji was still not in favor of giving a very strict punishment, and somehow Nana Fadnavis, he blamed Mahadaji that you did not take adequate care that Raghunath Rao is not escaping, because we see that it is a escaping of Raghunath Rao that has further prolonged the war. If Raghunath Rao had been kept in safe custody, probably the probability of war would have been much on the lesser side. But now, as the British had a kind of card, in their hand in the form of Raghunath Rao. They thought that why not to use Raghunath Rao to expand their influence. Well, now as Bengal army also reached to Gujarat, the British they decided to open the front along with Fateh Singh Gaikwad. They planned to attack Peshwa's position in Gujarat. Now Nana Fadnavis he rose to the occasion really, and he formed a great quadruple alliance against the Britishers. Peshwa, he was definitely managing the affairs of Peshwa. Nizam had his own grievances against the British because the area of northern Sarkar, the Britishers, they had their area under their control in Bengal and they had area under their control in Madras. But there was no land collection connection between the Madras and Bengal. They have to travel through sea only. Now, if they have to establish the land connection, the area to the north of Madras that was being under the control of Nizam, and the area that was south of Bengal was under the control of Bhosles. So until unless they occupy the area of the part of area that is northern Sarkar, which was under the control of the Nizam, and the Orissa, which was under the control of Bhosle, until unless they get these two areas, the British area in Bengal and the British area in Madras will not be connected by land. So they had this policy, and under this policy, the British they occupies the Northern Sarkar. Northern Sarkar was in fact managed by Nizam's brother, but the Britishers they manages him, they pay him money, and Northern Sarkar was occupied by the Britishers. So Nizam had his grievances, and in fact it was Nizam who suggested to Nana Fadnavis that let us open front against the Britishers. Bhosle, they joined hands. Bhosle was, of course, in the Maratha Confederation, so they were also willing to join against the Britishers. In any case, Bhosles and Britishers had conflict in Bengal with regard to the paying of the Chauth. Hyder Ali was the very staunch enemy of the Britishers. He even took the support of the French, and the French. There was on the western coast area near to Karnataka. There was a French port through which Hyder used to get supplies of the cannon, and that port was captured by the Britishers, and Hyder now turn as a kind of very staunch enemy of the Britishers. So these all four people, that is Peshwa, Nizam, Bhosle, and Hyder, with the initiative taken by Nana Fadnavis, they have a kind of quadruple alliance against the Britishers. And it was Nana, as I already referred earlier. Nana was a kind of genius of his time, when most of the Indian ruler did not understand the intention of the Britishers. It was Nana Fadnavis who understood it, and he wrote later to Nizam and many other Indian ruler that the Britishers are bent upon establishing their domination over the whole of the Indian territory, and in order to protect our independence, we need to join hands together. And at the same time, when all this quadruple alliance formation was going on, there was an anti-British sentiment prevailing among the rulers in India. Because the Britishers they have ill-treated the Mughal emperor. Mughal emperor, though lost all the power, was still considered as the head of the Indian, all the Indian rulers. Nawab of Oudh was ill-treated by the British. King of Banaras, Chet Singh, who was friend of the British initially, was also ill-treated. The British, they continue to praise Chet Singh and the Nawab of Oudh to pay them money so that they can fight against the Marathas. So, they're taking money from one Indian ruler, raising the army on that money, and using the same army to fight against another Indian ruler. That was the policy. Nawab of Bengal was also ill-treated. That was well known to everybody. So because of all this ill-treatment, there was an anti-British sentiment against among the ruler of the Indian ruler. So, well, I referred to the French port that was captured by British, and that port is Mahe, which was captured by the British in 1779, and that has deprived Hyder Ali of French support of men and arms, and Hyder Ali turned against the British. The Pune Darbar that is led by Nana Fadnavis now, he opens negotiation with Hyder Ali. In fact, Hyder Ali and Marathas they had enmity. The area south of Tungabhadra, which were captured by the Marathas earlier, was now captured by Hyder Ali. And the Marathas and Hyder Ali they fought wars. But now, in order to join hands together against the Britishers, Nana agreed that the territory south of Tungabhadra, Maratha territory south of Tungabhadra, which were captured by Hyder Ali, will be given to Hyder Ali. Now, Nizam anger, I have already told you. Now, Nana, he also had correspondence with the emperor at Delhi and achieved his sympathy. Siddhi of Zanzira, the hereditary enemy of the Marathas, also joined hands with in this alliance. Portuguese and Dutch, they also joined hands in this alliance. And now it was planned that the Bhosles will attack British in Bengal. Pune army will attack in Gujarat and Bombay and Konkan region. They will fight against the Britishers. Nizam will fight on the eastern coast, and Hyder Ali will attack Madras. So all that plan was formed. But now Hastings has proved to be a better diplomat than Nana Fadnavis. He was quite ambitious. Now Hastings wanted to remove at least a couple of enemies from this quadruple alliance. So Northern Sarkar, which was taken away from Nizam's territory, was restored to Nizam, and the British managed to separate him from this quadruple alliance. They gave him an indication that in any case, you and Marathas had been always fighting. We will protect you. We are your friends. Take your northern Sarkar and separate. Nizam separated from this quadruple alliance. They managed to separate Bhosle as well. I have already told you earlier that there was a conflict between Bhosles and the British with regard to the south of Bengal. And interestingly, when the British army from Bengal were marching towards Gujarat, they were prevented on the at Hoshangabad. But somehow something has happened, and Mudhoji Bhosle, they allowed the British army to cross Narbada into Gujarat. Now again, they had negotiation. Bhosle earlier, in line with the responsibility given to them in the Quadruple Alliance to fight war against the British in Bengal, they sent huge army, and it was Chimnaji Bhosle, the son of Mudhoji Bhosle. He leads this army to Bengal, but the Britishers, they managed to seduce Raghuji Bhosle, the elder brother of Chimaji Bhosle and elder son of Mudhoji Bhosle, who was looking after the administration at Pune. And it was Raghuji Bhosle's, the mantri, the person who was working in the darbar of Bhosle, that was being paid money by the Britishers, and it was that person who turned Bhosle towards British. British finally agreed that there is a lot of chauth pending, and we will pay you 50 lakh rupees either in cash and kind, but you allow us to march from Bengal to Madras. The army goes through your territory, through Orissa, so we will march our army, and your army will not prevent us. And the Bhosles, they separated from the British. They did not take any action. In fact, the Bhosles' action against the British in Bengal would have turned the side, because most of the Bengal army were sent to Gujarat to support a war against the Pune Darbar. Some army was sent to South India to fight war against Hyder Ali during the war, and the British in Bengal were having a very less army with them. And if Bhosles have attacked British in Bengal, probably things would have turned to be different. But Hastings and the British, they were, uh, proved to be better diplomat. In fact, there seems to be the lack of feeling of nationality among the Marathas. The correspondence proves that Mudhoji Bhosle was altogether ready to free himself from the nominal domination of the Peshwas and Chhatrapati, and was willing to become vessel of the King of England. That of course did not work out, but we see that there is a problem of loyalty towards Maratha as a nation that we find lacking in the Marathas, and that has proved one of the important reasons for the downfall. Well, let me see if anything that in relation to the Bhosle and British I have missed. Chauth, I have already told you. Bhosle had traditional conflict with Peshwa, because during Shahu's period, Bengal was given to Bhosle, but Peshwa also encroached on Bengal, and even Bajirao Peshwa had to fight against Bhosle. But later on, they reconciled. But nevertheless, Bhosles, whenever they could get time, they refused to acknowledge the sovereignty of Peshwa, and they said, we are servant of the Chhatrapati, and we are not servant of Bhosle. You are one among the confederation. So they did had conflict with Peshwa, and the British, they definitely tried to cash on it. Even the British had offered to Bhosle, Mudoji Bhosle, that as Chhatrapati at Satara, the nominal head of the Maratha Confederation, is without son, you can become Chhatrapati. I will make you Chhatrapati. But of course, Mudoji, he later on withdraw from this proposal because he knew that he might, land into a lot of problems if he becomes Chhatrapati. Well, Chimnaji, I have already told you 50 lakh. Uh, well, so in 1780, British troops from Bengal, they went to Madras without any obstruction from the side of the Bhosles. And interestingly, it was Mudoji Bhosle who gave information about this quadruple alliance. This quadruple alliance was kept very secret by Nana, but Mudoji Bhosle, he gave information to the British, and it was Nana Fadnavis during the war that now takes place. They repeatedly urge Bhosle that you take action against the British, start fight against the British in Bengal. Even Madhaji Bhosle was ready to go in support of Bhosle's and march to Bengal with his army, but Bhosle did not respond, and that opportunity was really lost. Well, now in Gujarat, as I already told you that the Gaikwad brother, they had conflict. Fateh Singh and Govind Rao. Fateh Singh joined hands with the Britishers, and he signed treaty with Godard in January 1780. And Godard and Fateh Singh, they attacked the Peshwa's position in Gujarat, and Ahmedabad, which was under Peshwa's position, was captured by Godard and Fateh Singh in February 1780. Mahadaji, he suddenly thought that as the war has broken out, he was not really ready to take on the British at this time. And he thought that first thing, let us try to have a reconciliation, or at least I should get some time so that I can reorganize my army. So the two hostages which were kept with Mahadaji Shinde after the British defeat at Talegaon during the Treaty of Vadgaon, those two hostages, that is Farmer and Stewart, they were released by Mahadaji, and these two people, they goes to Godard and says that Mahadaji have treated them really very well. Now this Mahadaji's releasing of these two people has created suspicious in the mind of Nana. Nana thought that probably Mahadaji is not being very loyal to Pune Darbar, but later on that doubt was cleared. Mahadaji was still in favor of ending the hostilities, and he made offer to Godard that if Raghunath Rao is surrendered to his custody, the war will end. But Godard was not willing to surrender Raghunath Rao. He said a person has taken shelter with the British, and it is against the prestige of the British that the surrendered person who has taken shelter with the British should be given up to his enemies. And as the negotiation did not prove to be fruitful, it broke down. The war, it started in the vicinity of Baroda in February March 1780, and Marathas, with their traditionally guerrilla tactics, they kept themselves out away from the artillery range of the British and employed guerrilla tactics. The British in April 1780, they made sudden attack on Shinde's camp, but that battle was not very decisive. And in May 1780, Holkar, in one of the engagement, he gained advantage over the British. And Godard, he was convinced that this war against the Marathas is not going to be very easy one. And as the rain have started now after May 1780, in June 1780, and during the rainy season, the expedition and the war, it becomes very very difficult. The Godard, he returned towards Surat, and during his retreat, he suffered shortage of provision again because of the guerrilla tactics of the Marathas. Godard, he camped at Daboi, and Holkar and Shinde, they temporarily returns to Malwa so that they can replenish their army. Now here, Holkar's house was divided. Ahilyabai Holkar, the head of the Holkar family now, and Tukoji Holkar, who was commander of the Holkar army, they had differences, and that differences, the Maratha efforts in the war had suffered also. Now Mahadaji, though he returned to Malwa, he was keeping an eye over the what is happening in Gujarat, and he supported Govindra Gaikwad, the opponent of Fateh Singh Gaikwad. Govindra Gaikwad is supported with men and money by Mahadaji Scindia, and he goes back to Gujarat to create diversion in Gujarat's plan, because now Godard had planned that along with Raghunath Rao, he will march against the Marathas to Pune. Uh, Now, Hyder Ali, he remained loyal to his words that he gave to the Quadruple Alliance, and he vigorously attacked the British in South with 70,000 troops and 100 cannon from 1780 onwards. He killed nearly 300 European troops and large number of Indian Sipahi under the British. The war was fought at the different places, and the condition of British in South because of the activities of Hyder was becoming pretty bad, and the British at Madras were sent reinforcement from Bengal. I told you earlier that the Bengal army, one reinforcement came to Gujarat, which was now commanded by Godard, and the another reinforcement through the Bhosle's territory of Cuttack and Orissa marched towards south in support of the British at Madras. And Kuti was the commander who was sent with the British Army, and Kuti he was sent with the British Army via sea from Kolkata to Madras, and Captain Popham and Colonel Kamak and Colonel Moore. They were sent by through the land through Orissa to south to support the British at Madras. And Kuti, after landing on the shore, he opened front against Hyder. Hyder was defeated by Kuti at one place, but immediately after that, Kuti dies, and death of Kuti has weakened the British effort. And it was later on, after June 1781, that the Britishers could gradually recover their position from the hands of the Hyder Ali. Now, as that was happening in the south, the British, they were fighting in Gujarat, and now they also thought that we should open the front at Bombay also. So we have seen today the next phase of the second Anglo-Maratha War that happened after Purandar. The Treaty of Purandar was not accepted by the British, and the army was sent from Bengal, which reached to Gujarat, and the British army from Bombay, they marched against Pune, but they were defeated near Talegaon, signed the Treaty of Vadgaon, and but this Treaty of Vadgaon was reputed by Hastings and the British, and the war front opened again at the different places. In between, there was a conspiracy of Moraba Furnace, which did not prove to be very successful. And now we have discussed the war at Gujarat, and now in the next class, we'll be discussing about the war in the Bombay area and the attempt of the British to march to Pune once again. So here we are stopping for today. In case if you are having any doubt, you can ask now.